where we've gone. We've gone from prescription, from RX to power, from power to fitness. And now fitness entirely dependent on technique. That says technique. Sir.
I guess what I'm getting from this is you're saying that it's acceptable to have 20% technique flaw.
Yeah, essentially right. In fact, what we see is of our very best performers, you look at it and go, that's damn good work. It might even be 85, 90%. It's like A minus, B plus.
It just seems to contradict what you said earlier, which is they don't have a form, you got to back off.
Well, if you can't create it, mime it, if you don't know what the line of action is with nothing in your hands, load ain't going to help you. We're not going to all of a sudden, with enough intensity, he got stupid enough, it got perfect. I mean, every once in a while, something like that happens. If you've got some cognitive intercept to getting the right thing, I can get you beat up enough that you start flowing along efficient lines. Every once in a while, that happens. But generally not. Look, we're working out at intensity so great, people are spiraling into the ground, not knowing which way's up. How are you going to make sure you didn't necessarily pull with the arms? Will your fine motor recruitment go to shit at the limits of your capacity? Hell yeah. You drive too fast, you're going to hit the wall. You type too fast, you'll hit notes. You shoot too fast, you're going to get outside the target too much. But to think that you're going to develop the intensity absent those crashes into the wall, hitting the wrong note, hitting the wrong key, never, 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 never going to happen. I'll promise you right now. We have this wonderful experience. Again, big empirical deal here. I have trainers that have build themselves as the epitome of perfection and elegance and grace and technique. And I'm giving it to you. I mean, that's some fucking good squats at very low intensity. What you want to do is constantly ratchet up the point at which the margins become unacceptable, so that it takes more and more and more and more horsepower to get you to fumble. And you're not going to do that without crashing into the wall or hitting the wrong note. You're not going to do it. Questions? Sir.
As a trainer with a new client, completely new to CrossFit, is the correlation between technique and intensity a natural progression, or how do we?
Yeah, I mean, my game plan is I want to see excruciatingly clean technique at lower intensity, and then ratchet up the intensity. And as it wanders off, I'm going to pull it back in. And it's threshold training, and it's the most natural thing in the world to do. So you find me telling you, yes, Greg, I want you to go faster. No, not sloppy, faster, 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 less sloppy. I want both. And I'm going to push those margins, and you have you really frustrated. If I don't get you to where you're faltering, and I see form faults, we're not going hard enough. And it's from that faltering that I want to make the correction. I want you to type so fast you're missing keys, and I'm going to tell you to quit missing the fucking keys. Right? It's so intuitive. It's by the way, it's the way this stuff has been done forever. We've all been thrown adrift by the bodybuilding community, where each fucking curl is pretty and there's no reason for ugly curls. That's because the movement's so dumb. I don't mean just dumb to do. It is dumb to do. It's dumb in the sense that it has no coordination, accuracy, agility component, no power, speed component. They're irrelevant to the task. They're irrelevant to the task. Sir.
I guess the question becomes, because you have kind of a gray area there between intensity and technique. And with firefighting or whatever, personal training, a lot of guys are so intent on getting the job done, and when you say, you're done, let's stop, let's slow down. I mean, is it, you're saying 20% is acceptable?
I see ineffective movement. You know, if you're doing a 30 rep clean and jerk, and the first one is, and I'm like, whoa, dude, you are not going to get there like that.
So you're looking at more than anything else is that when their form gets poor enough, that they start to not be able to create the same.
Yes, or head down a known path to danger, rounded back.
Right. Okay.
But I need some semblance of capacity. Now, and this is a wonderful thing. I get someone who I just don't like the movement, so I tell them, slow down and think harder, breathe deeper, and all of a sudden the pace picks up. How's that for cool? I get you to slow down and you go faster. you'll find exactly that. The fastest delivery for a given output will be along super correct lines of action. It's a natural place to be. And everything else is a dead end on the tree, a branch to out and done, not up. And you'll have to fix it to back down in intensity, fix the mechanics, to go back up again to a place where there's high probability of success. You show me a world record discus throw, what you won't find is, oh my God, he really did a shitty job of throwing that. You don't see a world record clean and jerk, and that's the worst technique I've ever seen. Not at the highest margins of performance. Wherever sport is highly quantifiable, output, human performance is highly quantifiable, precision of movement, this neurological component asserts itself dramatically and naturally. Suppose this gentleman were to get a world record in the discus throw with a really ugly fucking style. I mean, wow, that's not how you do it, but world record. Then he does it. Wow, same bad technique, but another world record. Do you understand it's time to revisit what we mean by successful technique? Like the high jump. Like the high jump. Like how many times did I see these analyses of Michael Johnson's running to be told that he runs for shit and just shattering these world records? Interesting. He should pay more attention. Now I got a group of guys coming and go, no, he's doing it right. And I tend to believe them. Look, this makes us fairly agnostic on form too, by the way. Are you getting the job done? Efficiency will fix the problem. Efficacy will fix the problem. Question. Sir.
To go back a step, muscle memory would have to be relearned if another variables change, like intensity or...
Yeah, in fact, the coordination, accuracy, agility components are stressed with functional movement exactly consistent, proportionate to the load. The difference between a 400-pound clean and jerk and a 200 is one of coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. You're not twice as strong, not in any sense of if we were just to look at, say, something as pointless as contractile potential of the muscles. There are girls that can get twice the weight I can up overhead. They don't have twice the contractile potential. If we hook electromyogram to the muscles, we don't find the muscles are contracting twice as hard. They're working more effectively, more efficiently. With the same contractile potential, they may do twice the work. That's coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. Your overhead squat will not get heavy without improved coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. You will not clean heavier without improving coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. The dumbest of our movements, say air squat and deadlift, you go to the early part of these progressions, and what we're learning here today, it's still imbued with enough that I find mechanical errors in what you're doing. The problem you find with the overhead squat, and you will, I load you up, watch, load you up, watch, load you up, watch, you crumble. The error I find crumbling is also present in your air squat if I have enough visual perspicuity to look for it. It's there still. Whatever is wrong along the line of action or in the statics, in the structure of your squat, will manifest itself in a failed overhead squat. Isn't that interesting?